Have you ever wanted to make your own home decor pieces? Well, today we're gonna walk through how to make this felt flower anemone hoop, and I can't wait to show you. So let's get started. First things first, make sure you like and subscribe because we come out with weekly videos of more felt flower tutorials for you. So the first thing we need, obviously, is felt. I am using 3 different colors of felt here. We have black, parchment, and olive. You can get felt lots of different places. Check the link below in my description for my shop and you can get all of these colors. Some of the names are a little bit different elsewhere, but you basically need a green, a white, and a black. We also need 2 felt balls, woo, that like to roll around. This one is 20 millimeters and this one is 15 millimeters. An 8-inch silver hoop, an 8-inch wire, 2 6-inch wires, and 7 2.5-inch wires. For this project, we're gonna go ahead and cut out a bunch of petals and leaves. The next thing we need is to cut out all of our petals. To help you, I have freezer paper stencils. Check out the link below so that you can go ahead and download your own freezer paper stencils. They're a small cost, but it definitely helps my channel out to keep making more tutorials for you. So we are going to need 17 of our large petals. This is one of the freezer paper stencils. I cut out just 1 petal just to make it a little bit easier right now, and I'll kind of briefly go over how to use freezer paper stencils. I do have a whole nother video on how to do this as well. So for this video, I've just cut out 1 petal, and then this is just a square of felt. Normally I would say just cut out the entire sheet of them, but for this video, we're just gonna do 1. Okay, so I'm using another piece of felt as like a protective surface because you definitely don't want to apply heat to your cutting mat or, you know, any surface that's not supposed to be. I've got my handy dandy iron here. I love this little quick little guy, but you can use any home iron as well. I've got this on high heat, no steam, and we're just gonna go ahead and press on our stencil really, really quick. And what it does is it just melts the wax in the paper and it sticks on here perfectly. All right, so now we just go ahead and cut this guy out. I love my big long shears. It just gives me a really clean cut, but we're literally just following the lines. And that's why I love these stencils, because it just makes it really, really easy to cut out very similar shapes, and it just takes the guesswork out, and then you know they're the same every time. So there you go. And easy peasy, all we do now is peel it off, and you've got a perfect petal shape. All right, so as far as petals, you're gonna go ahead and need 17 of the large petals, 4 small petals, 17 leaves, 1 large 4-point leaf, 1 small 4-point leaf, a 1/2-inch strip of white, a 1x6 of black, and a 1/2-inch by 6-inch of black. Real quick guys, if you want to go ahead and make this at home and don't have all the supplies, I do sell this in a kit version, which will come with all of the stuff you need, the hoop, the wire, all the felt sheets. If you want it pre-cut, it'll come with all of the shapes already cut out for you to make it super easy if you're a beginner and want to start getting your feet wet in felt flowers. Go check it out, link in the description. So first things first is we're gonna start building all of our pieces, and we are gonna start with our leaves. All the templates for all of these shapes are included in the SVG and PDF files in the digital download link in the description. So you're gonna grab all of your wire pieces and all of your leaves. So 1 leaf branch is gonna have 7 leaves on it, and then the other 2 are gonna have 5 leaves on it. So we have our leaves here, and this is just a simple pinch leaf. And then we're just gonna apply a little bit of glue. Oops. I got carried away. A little bit of glue on the bottom of our leaf. Throw our wire down. I just smushed that glue because I got a little bit extra, so I kind of spreaded it out so that it didn't just like all come out. And pinch on the wire. So mine did come out right now, and just a fun little trick if this happens to you is just grab your small little snip scissors and just trim it right off. Nobody will know. Okay, so we're gonna do the same on our 6-inch wire as well. Put a little bit of glue and pinch. All right, next we're gonna grab our 2.5-inch wires, and we are going to put leaves on both sides of this one. So I like to do both of the leaves at the same time, but if you want to do one, that's totally cool too. We're just throwing a little bit of glue right on the bottom and doing our simple pinch leaf again. Just make sure to hold your glue down until the glue is set. That way it's nice and secure. And we're going to do this to all of our 2.5 inch wires. Okay, so now to assemble our leaves. This is the fun and easy part. So for the long 8 inch wire, we're gonna put 3 leaves on it to make a total of 7. And then these 2 are each gonna get 5. Oh, I have 2 extra. Way to go for miscounting, but we'll save that bad boy for later. To do this, all we're gonna do is take our wire. I'm gonna push these over. We're going to kind of do like a cross, and I like to put a lot of pressure on this finger here and just tightly roll and twist one side of the wire around. The more times you can get it tightly on there, the more it's not gonna move and budge. So we're gonna do that and repeat it 3 times. And then you're gonna wanna evenly space your leaves kind of going down. But again, don't worry if it's not perfect, because we can move these wires in whatever direction we need them to go. And I mean, what leaves are perfect anyways. And this is your beautiful creation, so you do what you want. Okay, so we've got that. Gonna move those, and now we've got our 7 leaf stem. So same thing we're gonna do on these guys, but this time instead of doing 3 leaves, we're gonna do 2. The reason why we do this is we want to just throw out like a different dynamic on the hoop. We just don't want it to be like all perfectly uniform, because that's no fun. I mean, it definitely can be if you wanted to, but I like it a little off kilter a little bit. It just gives it a little bit more versatility on how to play with it and how to display it in your house. All right, almost done. We are cruising, guys. We are doing great. So now our 3 leaf pieces are complete. So let's go ahead and push these aside and get started on our flower. All right, so we are going to start with our centers. So we definitely need our felt balls, but we're also gonna start with our 2 black strips here. I love using my scalloped pinking shears because they give this nice, beautiful scalloped effect on your centers and just makes them look a little bit better. So we're just gonna go ahead and make a small snip with these all the way down. I also like them because they are a perfect guide to keep your fringe perfectly spaced out, because you're literally going in between each little valley on the scallop. If you don't have these, don't worry about it. You can definitely do it by hand and just make flat little snips, and it is still beautiful. But I want to say these are like only less than $10 on Amazon, and they definitely add a lot to your flowers. Okay, so we're gonna take these now, get our little snip scissors, and we are going to follow the pattern of the scallops and snip them a little bit more than halfway down. And doing the same thing on the little guy too. Perfect. All right, so we'll put those here, and now we're gonna take our 1/2 inch white strip here, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna actually wrap our felt ball in it to make kind of like a double center here, just like so. We're gonna throw some glue here. I like to do it just right down the center and roll our ball. So once I have a little bit glue on here, I'll kind of measure how far I need to go and then make a little snip on here so it's perfect. Then I'll finish going ahead and gluing this guy up. And just let the edges kind of connect again. So we're gonna do this on both balls. There's some glue in the middle. And measure it, snip it, throw that aside for all of the other anemones you're going to be making once you're addicted to making felt flowers. And just close that up like that. Okay, so the taller center strip is gonna go on the bigger felt ball, and we're gonna do the similar motion. We're gonna put glue at the bottom and then roll this on here. And we want this strip to go around twice. And we're just simply rolling this all the way around 2 times. 6 inches is about perfect. So there you go. This is your center right here. That is the center for the bigger flower, and then this will be the center for our bud. So this one will probably have extra, but that's okay too. So I'm gonna go throw some glue down again and roll him on. And we're gonna keep going. I'm not going all the way to the edge because we probably won't need the full 6 inches here. Pretty close though. And close that up. All right, so here are your 2 anemone centers. All right, let's put these aside and start prepping our petals. So we're gonna take all of our large petals and we are going to shape them a little bit. I like using the curling iron because I feel like I can go faster and it's less, you know, just wear and tear on my hands and fingers, so I'm not over exerting myself, and definitely got some sore fingers in the past from pulling on felt. So this is just a really great method to use. But again, you can make it work with nothing at all. Okay, so we have all of our petals curled, and let's go ahead and start on our larger anemone. For this flower, we have 2 layers of petals. The first layer is going to be 5 petals, and the second layer is going to be 7 petals. And then the rest will be for our small bud. So we're going to start on our first layer, grab a petal, throw some glue at the bottom here. I'm doing a nice line of glue. I'm putting it about halfway, and I'm pinching it on. So it kind of gives like a pinched look here. So it gives a pinched look for your petal. We're gonna work our way all the way around the flower, just evenly placing our petals here and just pinching as we go. All right, so that is a first layer of petals, and now we're gonna go and do our second layer. Put some more glue. This time I'm kind of going a little bit closer, and I'm just I'm not necessarily pinching them the same because you can't really see that pinch in the petal, but I am just putting them evenly around. So you do have more petals on this layer, so I am overlapping them just a little bit more than the top layer. And this just really makes that flower look really full. Make sure you're holding it on until the glue sets, especially since you're kind of going around some ridges from your other layer. You just want to make sure that glue makes really, really good contact with your flower. And we're gonna go all the way around. Last one. And then all I like to do is grab, you can use scissors or anything that's like small and sharp, and I just like to re-fluff my center because you don't want it all perfectly smushed. And you can kind of just play with your petals a little bit. We'll play more a little bit once we assemble too. All right, let's put this aside and do our bud. Then we're gonna get our 4 small centers and 5 large petals. Okay, so these ones we're just gonna tightly put around. You kind of want them almost coming over the top because you're imagining like a bud and it's a little bit tighter and it's just starting to open up. So that little middle layer of petals just hasn't quite finished growing. So we're gonna go all the way around. And I'm trying to do it as tight as I can here. And I'm overlapping them just a hair because you want to make sure all your petals go all the way around as well. There you go. We're just holding all the petals in there tightly. So we're gonna do the exact same thing here, and we're gonna kind of keep it a little bit tight too. So when we're doing it, we're not gonna pinch them, but we're going to just kind of fold them around tightly, and we're not gonna, you know, fan them out more like this. We want them kind of closed off a little bit. So I'm putting a lot of glue here, so it's a lot of contact, just rounding it on my bud here. And we're gonna go all the way around. These ones I'm overlapping quite a bit because a bud obviously is just opening and really tightly wound. I'm just gonna hold it, kind of squeeze it here. And there you go. It's just a little, I don't know if I'd call it a bud, but it's definitely like an opening flower. Okay, the fun part. So now we have all our pieces. We have our large flower, we have our bud, we have our large leaf and 2 small leaves. Let's get our hoop and then our 2 base leaves. First thing we're gonna do, all these hoops have like a joining part where they, you know, glued or soldered them together. So find your little part where the hoop joins, and this is gonna be the spot where you're gonna like cover with all your flowers. So that's gonna be your bottom or whatever. That's just gonna be where your flower cluster is at. So we're gonna start with our big leaf here. And this, don't worry about placement necessarily because we're gonna be able to slide these around. So get it close, but don't worry if it's like perfect right now. So we're gonna hold it on tightly, and just like when we did our leaves, we're gonna wrap our wire around. I like to wrap it around quite a few times just so that it's really, really on there and it is definitely not coming off. Now we're gonna grab our small one and kind of layer it next to it. I'm going about yay far away. And again, don't worry, this is all adjustable where the placement's gonna be, but we're gonna get these 2 close and twist that one on. Oops, extra glue. And like I said, these can move all the way around right now, but they're also just not falling off. So if it's not close to this spot, don't worry about that yet. You just want 2 leaves on one side of it, and then we're gonna do 1 leaf on the other side of it. All right, now we're gonna go ahead and get our last leaf here and do the exact same thing on the other side of the hoop and just twist this bad boy on. Okay, so this is kind of what it's gonna look like right now. I'm just gonna slide these around, and then we're just gonna kind of like dry fit where we want the leaves to go perfectly. So I'm gonna go ahead and put this flower here, and then we're gonna kind of angle this one kind of off to the side. So it's not just like a front and a front. We're gonna kind of, like it's peeking out a little bit. So we're gonna leave that like that. And now we're gonna apply our flowers. But what we wanna do is we're gonna throw just a little bit of glue right here on our flower. We're gonna go ahead, it's kind of hard to line up because you're doing this upside down. We want it like right there. Perfect. Now we're gonna do the exact same thing here. So it's kind of landing on our wire sideways, so where we need to apply the glue is more on the side. So another easy way is let's just put glue on our hoop. So I'm putting a generous amount on our hoop, and we kind of dry fit it, so we're gonna just slap it down, like so. Okay, so now I'm gonna flip it over. Let's do the small leaf first, and what we're gonna do is we're going to basically like sandwich this on and glue it. That way it just makes sure your flower is on there very, very securely. So with this leaf, I'm actually going to snip it going in. That way it can kind of arc over this wire or this hoop a little bit and really like hold on to the flower and the hoop. Just gives it lots of added extra protection. So we're gonna put glue. I'm gonna do the top 2 sides first, just so that it glues on there well. Before it's like, you know, it's too messy, it's glue, it gets a little crazy. Okay, I'm gonna flap one over, put some glue, really tuck that in there to hold that flower down. And we're gonna do the same thing over here. Oops. really tuck it in. So for this one, it's a little bit easier. We're just going to put it right over the middle and then throw some glue down and then cinch it down. I'm gonna go ahead and move these leaves kind of out of the way because we don't want to glue leaves. This is also the perfect way to cover these ends of your wire so they're not gonna just poke your wall or poke you, or it just kind of safeties everything up too. So I'm gonna do 2 leaves on this one first, just so we can line it up just right. And just sandwich that down. And then I'll fold it and do the other 2 leaves. And fold that down. And that just helps finish off your back. So now we're gonna go ahead and move our leaves wherever you want them. So I want these ones to kind of like come up and out, and then you can throw this one. You know, you can follow the arc of your hoop. You can kind of bring it down. That's what I love about putting leaves on wires. You can really adjust them and put it wherever you want. Okay, so I know we fixed this earlier, but I told you it was gonna get messed up again. So I'll use my scissors this time. I'm just closing them so it's like just a little sharp point. And I'm just going through and refluffing my center. Kind of adjust my petals, fluff them. And now you have a beautiful anemone hoop. And this is a great trick. Just remember, like if it gets on your wall and it starts losing its shape or anything, just go back in there with your scissors and refluff it. You can move your petals back around, refluff your petals. You can also grab your curling iron again, add a little bit more shape if it starts to deflate for any reason. So here you go. I hope you loved making this super amazing hoop with me. I sure did, and I can't wait to hang it in my house. And don't forget, link in the description for all the tools I use and a digital copy to get all the instructions and stencils and templates to make this at home. If you also want to get supplies and whatnot, I will also be selling this in a kit version, so it'll come with all the stencils you need or all the pre-cut pieces you need to just make it simple and easy without having to go out and get any of these supplies that you may not have on hand. Please be sure to comment below what you think about this hoop and where you're gonna put it in your home, and make sure you like and subscribe this video and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of my future videos. I've got lots of stuff planned and they are coming out every week. So thank you guys for joining along, and I will catch you next time.